Welcome everyone to the webinar. It's great to have you here. And if you're just joining, just make sure you're muted. Otherwise you might pop up on the recording. And we will get started. I want to first just welcome you to the Primal Trust Academy and community. And just real quick before we begin, I always have to have a disclaimer and let you know that everything I'm teaching here, it's not medical advice. It's just meant to be educational, and that all this content is under copyright just for your reference. All right, well, hi. Hopefully you guys can all see me. It's good to have you here. There's probably going to be people trickling in for the next little bit. And if you're new to Zoom, there should be a chat box down on the bottom for questions. And otherwise, we're just going to get started. If you would, I would love to hear where all of you are from. Just kind of in the chat box, type where you're at in the world. I am living in southern Utah right now, in the desert. Oh, yep, Kathleen's from White Salmon, Washington. I used to live there. And wow, all over Nebraska, Michigan, England, cool. Washington, Mexico, California, all over the US. So we tend to have people from all over. Usually the Australians are still sleeping. They'll catch the recording later. I'd like to begin while we are waiting for people to join by sharing the video that is on my website that my partner Erin made. And I want to share this video to just help you guys know what the vision is of this community. It's kind of the emotional feel behind all of my work. So we will watch that while we wait for people over the next couple minutes, and then we'll actually begin the teaching. So I'm going to play that video while we wait. And I think this is the right desktop. And then just let me know, hopefully it's not too loud, but here we go. So here's the vision of the community.
Illness and trauma may have brought you here, but that is not why you are here. We are the resilient ones, having walked the thorn-filled path. Now is the time to choose. Will we remain shackled in the chains of our ancestors? Or will we rewire and reveal our true nature to the world at the risk of failing or being invalidated? This choice requires primal trust. Primal trust is a frequency of love. We can embody this frequency and spread it like wildfire. It is time. It is time to rise. Time to break free of the patterns of illness and trauma that have bound you and depleted your life force. I was once very ill, overwhelmed with fear that I might never return. But I discovered my primal trust frequency and chose to let that ignite my body's innate healing ability. Now I am called as a guide to help others do the same, unraveling ancient brainstem programming through heart-led rewiring of the brain and nervous system. I have a vision, and you are part of it. My vision is to build a community of grid holders, a collective embodiment of primal trust, radiating the frequency of Mother Earth's consciousness. We are inherently safe. We belong. We are at home in the body and the world. My message is one of truth, unity, compassion, and freedom. My work is regulation, integration, liberation. Together, we hold each other and the earth steady as we birth a new timeline, a new reality. It starts with self-regulation of the nervous system and co-regulation in families and communities. We can't heal or change the world alone. Together we rise. Together we fly. It's time.
Thanks for being here, everybody. I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what this community is all about. And that is my vision, that everyone who becomes a part of this finds something in them that helps them not only be regulated for themselves, for their own healing, but for those of you that are in your for your family, for your community, so that we can help, start to interrupt this massive issue of limbic system impairment and chronic stress response. And it starts by learning how to feel trust in your own nervous system. So looks like a handful of you have trickled in, and I'm glad to see you. Thank you for taking this time. So I wanted to just let you know that it is through what I call primal trust that we learn how to consciously self-regulate our biology, which is a brain state that sends healing messages of safety to your body, helping you heal and transform your health and bring healing and the wounding to your life. My name is Dr. Kathleen King. Most of you know who I am, and I'm the founder of the Primal Trust Academy and community. I'm a physical therapist and an educator. I'm also a mom, and I live in Southern Utah with my partner, Erin, and my kids. And I've had my own journey of healing from over a decade of debilitating disease and a long history of mental health issues and trauma patterns. And now I teach others how to move out of this chronic stress response and get their lives back using an integrative process that helped me. So I see a handful of you here that I do know. If you are new to my program, I'd love for you to just type a 1 in the chat box, so I know how many of you don't know me or much about me. I'm just curious. A lot of familiar faces. Oh, look at that. There are lots of new people. Okay, well, welcome. I'm so glad that you take the time to listen to me today. Hopefully you'll learn a few things. Wow, there's actually a lot of you. Excellent. So, I know that many of you are here because you want to learn how to heal from chronic illnesses. Maybe it's Lyme disease, mold toxicity, chemical sensitivity, autoimmune issues, digestive issues, or maybe there's mental health issues like anxiety and trauma and depression. And that's what my work is for. It's for all of that. And I want to say, though, that it's not any of my programs or any of the tools or the teaching that's going to directly heal you. If you're struggling with recovery from illness or mental health issues, there's something dormant that's inside each of you that needs to be ignited to reset your body. And that's called your true self frequency, which is generated when you embody what I call primal trust. And it's that healing frequency that my programs and processes are to help you unlock. And I'm going to tell you a little more about that in a moment. But first, now that a bunch of you have arrived, I'd like to just do a simple somatic presencing practice. And that might be new to a lot of you. Don't worry, it's super simple. And it's just about breathing and being here in this moment as it is. Okay, so just follow along as let me get my chat box up, make sure everybody's okay. So somatic presencing, this is one of my step 1 materials. Very simple, just breathing into your heart center, 5-second in breath, 5-second out breath. Okay, and we'll just start that right now. So breathing in a 5-second in breath and a 5-second out breath. I just want you to intend to be right here, right now, in this moment, gathering all your thoughts, all of your energy. Keep breathing in, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, and just be here in this body, noticing what it's like as you're just breathing and trying to focus on your heart space. Notice maybe you're really uncomfortable. Maybe you feel numb. Maybe you feel scared, maybe even hopeless. Just breathing in right here. All of that is okay. It's all okay. It's just your experience right here, right now, in this moment. Can you just be with whatever it is that you're feeling in your body and not need to change it just for a few moments? That's somatic presencing. It's just being present in your body with what is. And I'm asking you guys to be present so that your capacity to learn is improved, but also just to notice that you can do it. You can be in your body regardless of what is. And in the Primal Trust process, we combine these type of simple little tools with brain retraining and other things in our programs to help you reset your sense of safety. And more importantly, maybe your capacity to handle the stress in your body and not need to dissociate or to distract. In order to turn on the self-empowered healing of your physical, of your mental health, you've got to find an inner essence that makes you feel imperturbable. A lot of you who know me know that I love that word, imperturbable. And that's what I help people find. And you find this through discovery of your center, your home frequency, your true self. This is the part of you that is free of protective programming and illness identification. This true self, it's a primal trust embodiment, which is the key to unlocking your self-healing mechanisms, as it's this true self, imperturbable brain state that sends messages of safety to your limbic system. And it brings your vital force through your energy body and through your nervous system. In addition to the brain retraining and nervous system regulation tools, this Primal Trust process helps you discover this inner healing essence. It's embodied by remembering yourself free as a child, or how you would have lived as a child if you were free to be yourself, or if you would have felt safe. You can still find it, even if it was never there, because it is there. And it might be covered up by memories, by programming, by parts that are protective. But this true self essence, it is not sick. It's not damaged. It's not affected by trauma. It's whole. It's whole, and it holds the key to your self-healing. And you might be wondering, well, how do I get in touch with this essence? How do we find this self-healing frequency? And usually people are just like, well, I just want to heal. Can you just help me heal? Let me tell you that this aspect of you is vital to find and embody for lasting changes in your physical and mental health. Again, it is not the tools that heal you. It's you that heals you. The tools are just to help you calm your body down enough to find this aspect of you. I'm going to be sharing some slides and doing some teaching, and then at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A. All right. In this slide, I'm just showing you a basic 3-step algorithm that I use for helping the true self to come back online and to run the brain state, which helps to unlock your self-healing mechanisms, helping you with chronic illness and mental health healing issues. The first step, safety and regulation. You have to help your inner psyche feel safe to be able to access this brain state. So that's always step 1 in my programs, nervous system regulation. Step 2 for finding that true self, it's a self-discovery process of who you really are and maybe what was lost along the way. This is the inner work of healing old wounding. And step 3, this is when your primal trust is embodied, and now you're bringing that essence into the world and feeling enough safety and self-trust that you can handle the backlash and maybe even handle rejection because you accept you, you trust you, and you love you. We're going to go into more details about these 3 steps and how they relate to brain retraining and nervous system regulation in a moment. I know that for a lot of you, it can seem really counterintuitive to develop or access this part of you, your vibrant true self. when you're feeling so sick or really uncomfortable in your body. But I found a way to help many people through this seemingly impossible task of discovering the part of you that isn't sick or tormented, because it was something that I had to do myself. And you can learn more about my own story on my website, because I don't really want to take up our time today to tell you that. But I'll tell you though, that for me, when I was really sick, I started to make access with my true self when I would purposely awaken brain states of wonder, adventure, curiosity, despite being bedbound. I had to live a seemingly paradoxical life for a while in order to unlock my healing. And so this process I'm describing takes primal trust, because you have to move out of the habit of fixing yourself because you're focusing on what's wrong. The primal trust pathway shows your subconscious it's safe to be the true you and to move beyond that illness identity. And it takes primal trust to get off the obsession of illness and the fear that you won't get better. It's so important to get in touch with this part of your brain state that was never damaged by life, by illness, by relationship, and to bring that brain state forward, letting that personality, that neural network run your autonomic nervous system. It takes a bit of a process to unlock this true self brain state, and we do this using brain retraining and other tools. And I know that many of you are probably already on this transformational healing path that I'm speaking of, and maybe you just need a little more structure with implementation of brain retraining and incorporating more advanced steps. And I'm guessing that many of you are also afraid to do anything but brain retraining because you were told not to go into the body or do anything else. And many of you here might not even know what brain retraining is. Take a moment just asking yourself, what do I need to find this part of me that is free of illness to help me heal? What do you need? There's a wisdom inside of you. What is the support you're looking for? Just curious about that. Usually people say, well, I just tell me what to do. I just want to get better. Or is there hope for someone like me with this diagnosis? Sorry, I just saw somebody can't get into the meeting. So what is it that you're feeling like you need? Are you wanting coaching? Are you wanting guidance? I'd love to hear in the chat box if you feel like, what is it that I need to find this aspect of me? It's important to ask yourself that question. I want you to know that this platform is for all of you, and it's for all levels of healing. And it's to teach you how to create the neural pathways of primal trust and true self-embodiment. So next, let's talk about the primal trust process. And for the last 2 years, I've been working on launching courses, advanced mentorship, coaching. I started a pilot community in early 2021 called Living Alchemy. And we've created something so great that I want to be able to offer this to everyone, but not in a high price format. So I'm going to go through some slides to share with you this 1, 2, 3 step process that not only helps you to uncover your true self, but takes you through the healing journey. Reading your chat box real quick. In just a second, I'm going to send this link to somebody because they're missing it. There's a couple people trying to get in real quick. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so who this process is for? It's for those of you who have been dealing with chronic illness, a nervous system stuck in fight flight, or having some type of infection, health challenges, all of these things. So if this looks like you, you are in the right place. That's who I work with. And this is how we resolve the chronic stress response. So this is, kind of the taking everything I do into a nutshell, which is brain retraining, nervous system regulation, and developing what I call a healthy adult main personality. This is an overview of the 3-step process. Step 1 is nervous system regulation. And this is where we do brain rewiring, other types of nervous system tools like vagus nerve toning, somatics, even some energy medicine. And step 2 is that inner work we are talking about, healing old wounding, creating primal trust. And step 3, liberate, getting back out into the world, bringing your true self essence into the world. Now I want to break down these 3 steps so you can understand a little more of what's entailed and take a personal poll of how are you doing with these 3 steps. Oops. All right, so step 1, regulate. This is the calming practices, the limbic system retraining practices. This is where we use brain retraining, limbic system rewiring. We also work on regulating the autonomic nervous system through different somatic practices or body-based practices. We learn about the polyvagal theory. And if any of these terms are new, I recommend Googling them. They're really important if you're dealing with chronic illness and trauma. The polyvagal theory teaches you the state of your nervous system response, and it helps you to become self-aware of how you're doing as far as self-regulation. We also work on improving your emotional processing in step 1, and somatic movements, which is another big part of the practices I teach. And that's just to help you get in your body and get your energy flowing, your meridians flowing properly, and toning your vagus nerve. Some of my favorite exercises are getting that vagus nerve, which regulates everything, back on track. I have a couple of courses that I use for this material. And again, this is step 1 of even getting that true self to come back online, because you have to stop that internal limbic system state of fear to be able to get access to that true self. So this is all about improving your stress response. All right, step 2, integrate. Now, this is that inner work of self-discovery of who am I? What do I love? And we really focus on developing a healthy adult ego structure. That might be new terminology for some of you, but what I found for people who have chronic stress and chronic illness is that often they don't have a strong, healthy inner adult main personality brain state, meaning their brain state is being run by a protective self, or a wounded inner child self, or a people pleaser self, or a perfectionist self, but not a healthy adult ego. And that is one of the things that we work on in the Primal Trust mentorship, is developing that brain state, okay? And then we work on focusing on our values with our brain rewiring practices, because it's through our values that we actually embody our true self essence. And often along the way, we stop living our true values and we end up living the values of our culture, our family, or of our protective parts inside of us. We work on personality parts integration. This is helping the pleaser part of us, or the perfectionist part of us, or the protector part of us become integrated into an adult brain state. And that really helps to calm the nervous system when you have parts integration. We incorporate advanced brain rewiring and nervous system regulation tools in this step. And we are focused on resolving that old wounding, healing trauma patterns, and healing our inner conflict. This develops resilience, this authentic expression, and embodying that primal trust frequency. And the goal of this step is to get that main adult personality emboldened and running the show. It's so important. When your main adult personality runs the show, it allows that true self-expression to start coming through, unlocking your vital force, moving us into stage 3, liberation, or emerging back into the world with heart-led purpose. In this step, this is still some ongoing personal transformation work. We really focus on living our purpose and community contribution. We work on re-engaging fully with life again, getting back into work or whatever it is that you do, and inspiring others to do the same. Inspiring others to do the same. So that's an outline of the 3 steps that I keep talking about, and I'll talk about them in different ways, but I want to go through them for you to just take a poll, like how are you doing in these different things? Where are you focusing? Where are you not focusing? Which one of these 3 steps do you feel like you've got handled? What things are hard for you? And just kind of have a personal inventory of that. Now, all of these things, you know, I'm opening a community, and we're going to get into some questions in a moment. And I'm also going to teach 3 points of healing, but I first want to just tell you what's going to be involved in this community so that you understand. The community is going to have everything that you see here, all of those steps, and it's not going to cost what you see. That's the pricing that I have been pricing my offerings at, and that is no longer happening. But I want you to understand that in this community, you're not just taking a course or taking a group training. You have access to everything so that you can move in and out of the different levels. Sometimes we go back and forth between level 1 and level 2. Sometimes when we're in level 3, we have a family crisis and we have to go back to level 1 and implement those tools. So they're all accessible. You're going to have all my courses, my Primal Trust Mentorship, which is by far my most popular offering, the live Primal Trust Mentorship, which is a 5-month program that'll be starting soon, and all of the level 3 teachings, video library, all of that. And the overall price of everything is just going to be $24 a week that we'll be billing monthly. So it's a pretty great deal. And some of you have asked what kind of classes are in here. I also have just a list. This is the next 2 weeks of the classes that we have. This is just a screenshot. So multiple different classes, different times. Usually it works out pretty well for the US and Europe. And level 1, 2, 3 classes available. And this is always changing as well. So just to give you an idea that there's lots to choose from. Okay. So that is a little overview of everything involved. I want to move into some questions here. And I want to let you know that at the end, I have a little more teaching to do. I'm going to be teaching on my probably 3 most solid practices that I think are important for healing. But we'll get to that after everything, after we get through some more questions. All right, so I'm going to look in the chat box. I questioned, are the classes all recorded? Yes, everything is recorded. So you have access to everything, whether you show up live or recorded. And I'm available for questions. I'm going to either start in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. The little hand raising button, there's like a, I don't know, somewhere on your screen. Okay, somebody asked, how many weeks does it take to get through all the modules? That's a really good question. I want to kind of, I'm going to show you an outline of what this process looks like as far as timeline, because I think that is an important question. Average timeline. Hold on, let me pull that slide up. Okay, this is on my website as well, but I'm just going to show you because I think it's a good question. All right, I recommend going through stage 1, spending at least a month. And that's why I've opened up the community a month prior to my new Primal Trust Mentorship, because I'd like for you guys to have time to get through all of this material and start showing up for live group coaching in the level 1 material. So I plan at least a month. Sometimes people spend 6 months to a year on stage 1. It just depends on you, but at least a month to get these practices going. The stage 2 integration, right now I have it set at a 5-month process, okay? And that is for those who have learned the stage 1 tools. You don't just jump into stage 2 without understanding how to do a brain retraining practice. And stage 3 is ongoing. And a lot of times people actually come back through and repeat this depending on how their nervous system is responding and how their life situation is. So good question there. Is there a minimum length of time for monthly membership? It's just billed monthly. So the 1 month would be the minimum length. And how much time per week should we plan on committing to this? It really depends. When we get going into the level 2 Primal Trust mentorship, that's a little more meaty material. And that's going to be, an hour and a half of a live class plus a study group. If you choose to do that, which is probably another hour and a half, and then maybe doing your own homework. So, it has a little bit more time. The level 1 course, you can listen to one course a week, which is an hour. And then the practices, I usually recommend at least 15 minutes to up to an hour a day of doing nervous system regulation, depending on how much health challenges you're going through. How much is it? Oh, it's it's billed monthly at $96 a month, and you can cancel anytime. And it's very much discounted from what I was offering. Those of you who were waiting for the live Primal Trust, that I quoted that at $1,500. And yeah, so it's a really good deal. I mean, by far, one of the best deals you're going to find for all of these different levels, group coaching, everything. I'm trying to make sure that everyone has access. One of the questions was, does this go well with DNRS? Yes, I'd say 80% of the people in this community have done the dynamic neural retraining system, or DNRS. And I teach you how to integrate that practice in with these advanced practices, or there's ways of replacing that practice or doing whatever. There's also a forum for support. So you have everyday support through a forum. And we have Felgany, which is a lead Primal Trust mentor, and other mentors helping with the forum. So that's going to be there to help you as well. What else do we have? There's a lot of questions here, so I'm trying to find them. Someone asked, can you start the program anytime? You can, except for the live Primal Trust. Once that starts, you need to have been started. You can't just jump into the live Primal Trust. So yes, you can start the program at any time. The live will start on January 25th. So you've got about a month to get through all of that level 1 material and get your nervous system ready for that inner work. The live Primal Trust is in January, and the next one will be in September. So for those of you who realize, I need to go through level 1 a little slower, you'll have a good 8 months before the next live Primal Trust. Also, there's a recorded Primal Trust that you can go through stage 2 at your own pace. Okay, so we have both options. Someone said, can we use this along with other modalities? Absolutely. I think it just helps your other modalities be more effective. So I'll never say don't do any of these other supportive things, because I don't think that's necessary. So the live Primal Trust is offered twice a year. What else? I know I'm missing a lot of your guys' questions, but I'm going to try to, what I will do is I'll go through the chat box when we're all done, and I will make a separate video of any of the questions that I've missed, and I'll add that to you guys so that you get your questions answered. They were asked, so the live Primal Trust is a separate course? Yes. So, but it's all included. I've got lots of different courses in there. Level 1 courses. Level 2 courses. The live Primal Trust is a level 2 course, and we have a bunch of level 3 courses. And the community is set up to guide you through each of these steps so that you're not like, oh, where do I start? You'll kind of know where you start. Okay. Does this process help with learning and pacing, re-engaging with life with physical needs? Yeah, so you're going to learn in the Primal Trust process, you'll learn how to get back into life, living your values, but also recognizing the needs in your body and just becoming very self-aware. Someone said there is a level 1 now. Yes, there is a level 1 now. It's called Creating Calm. And there's a new level 1 coming out in 2022. So there's a level 1 now that's a four course series: brain retraining, vagus nerve retraining, somatics, energy medicine, and there'll be a new version coming out in 2022. So yes, there's all of them. And any of those that are able to answer the questions in the chat box for me, a lot of you guys are already in Primal Trust. Please feel free to answer some of these questions that I won't be able to get to. Another person asked, is this good for those of us who are pretty far along in the path? I have a lot of very advanced people in this community. They can let you know about that. There's a level 3, which is all, advanced healing, getting your purpose out there, healing, deeper relationship stuff, generational stuff. So yeah, there is an advanced section with people who've been at this for a while. It's really meant to be for all levels, and that's kind of why I set it up. Another person asked, do I teach my own brain retraining program? Yes, my level 1 material is my own practice. It's called ABC Dimensional Shift, and it's been a very popular brain retraining program, and I teach that in level 1 and an advanced version in level 2. Good question. How long does access last? It lasts as long as you are a member. How many weeks does it take to get through all the modules? Like I said, level 1, probably give it a month and do 1 module a week. And the Primal Trust, I would give yourself 5 months for that one. Primal Trust has been really, really popular and really, really effective generally. So I hope that those of you who are coming into the community give that a try. It's been quite successful. Someone asked, is it okay to do this kind of work while healing from other things like viruses, mold? Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely, a lot of people are working with practitioners and doing brain retraining on the side, and I think that works beautifully. Someone asked about going through a benzo withdrawal while going through this program. I also went through a benzo withdrawal in my journey, and these are the tools that I use to get through it. So yes, this is perfect for you. All right, let's see what else we have. I think level 1 will take for longer than a month. Should I wait till the next offer to sign up? I think that you can do level 1 and move into parts of level 2. And you could just slow yourself down for level 2. I have slowed down the Primal Trust mentorship. So it's 1 class every other week. So you've got an integration week. So you might find that that works for you. Can someone get to a point where we've learned enough tools to be good enough and no longer need to become a member? You never need to be a member. I'll tell you that right now. It's only because you want to be. A lot of people are in here, they are in their advanced stages, and they're here because they love the community. They love being involved in the community. They often even mentor back, so there's opportunities for mentoring back. But if you feel like this community isn't something that's supportive, you're absolutely welcome to, it needs to be a fit for you. So there'll be no pressure there. So someone asked, is there a community forum for level 1? Yeah, there's a community forum for level 1 and level 2 combined. And then there's a separate forum for level 3 advanced. So it kind of keeps the conversation separate for you guys. All right. The live Primal Trust schedule is going to be on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. 1 week will be instruction. The next week will be a live Q&A for that class, and then instruction, live Q&A. So Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific. There will also be study groups. I'm not sure what days those will be yet, maybe Thursday or Friday, and probably different times. So someone asked, are these available for purchase? I'm hoping that people will do the subscription. It's a way better deal. I suppose if you wanted to purchase Primal Trust for the $1,500, you could, but it doesn't make sense to do that. So I guess you could just message me if that's what you're interested in. How long is each class of Primal Trust? The class is usually about an hour, and then I have an attunement, a brain rewiring attunement, which is to help repattern your memory structures after the class. So it ends up being about an hour and a half. Sometimes I stay on almost 2 hours to do some questioning and answering after the instruction at the end. So plan on an hour and a half to 2 hours. All the classes are recorded. Everything's recorded. So you can go through it at your own rate. And if you have a low tolerance for watching things, you can watch in 10-minute chunks if you have to do that. If you're already a member of the Living Alchemy community, you are are automatically in this membership. So you've been transferred over already, Tammy. Yes, classes are Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'm going to get into a little more teaching here in a moment. If there's any more pressing questions that I missed, I know I've probably missed a handful. I'm so glad to have you guys all here, but sometimes it's hard for me to get through all of them. 10 a.m. Pacific. Classes last anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Enrollment, yes, will stay open. The live Primal Trust starts January 25th. But again, there's a lot of classes that are amazing, getting you ready for that, and group coaching. So if you're wanting to, do a little bit of group coaching with me, that's available to join into beforehand. Someone asked, how long was my healing journey? Well, I was very ill from 2003 up until, 2018. So a long time. And when I started brain retraining, that was in 2018. And I started the level 1 material, and I spent a good year working an hour a day, and I got massively better in that year. And then I started learning level 2, or that inner work stuff, the year after that. And that was what, but I'd already had a big shift with just level 1. So, yeah, so that's kind of the timeline. But I was, debilitated, bedbound for almost 10 years. I was really sick. It took me a little while. All right. So what other questions do we have here? For those that have purchased my past creating calm, there is no access to a forum. The forum is just for the membership. The live in September will also be available through the subscription, but this I'm adding it in for free right now for all founding members. I don't know if I'll be doing that in September. What other questions do we have? All right, I'm going to get into a little more teaching, and if I did miss something, let me know. And the Creating Calm course in the membership, someone asked if there's a live Q&A. Yes, but it's for the membership only. Someone asked, are my attunements higher self-based? What is the source of them? The source of them is whatever it is for you. It means like, I have a frequently asked question of, is this spiritual? You can look at that on my website, but think of your higher self as whatever that is. If that's just your connection to earth, it's earth. If it's a connection to God, it's God. If it's a connection to Christ, it's Christ. If it's Krishna, it's Krishna. You decide. So when I'm speaking to whatever that is to you. Okay. So it's meant to be very all-inclusive. And yeah, I have a whole section about that on my frequently asked question. It's a really good question. Okay, let's do a little more teaching. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that there are a few things that are really important to work on, regardless of where you're at in your healing journey, that I see necessary for those in the healing process. And I'm going to outline 3 things today. Hold on, I gotta find the slide. My slideshow is stuck. Give me a second. There it is. Okay. Okay. Here we go. 3 things for healing that are important. Number 1, memory repatterning. This is so important that you are working on your memory structures. And a lot of people want to avoid this piece, but it is the hippocampus, which is our memory center, and it's constantly affecting the amygdala fear response. So we need to work on memory repatterning. I do this in different ways. We do home brain retraining practices, and we also do brain rewiring attunements. And in the Primal Trust work, we work on memory patterning through understanding the difference between our adult main personality and part-time personalities that are based off of memory structures. So we work a lot on memory repatterning so that we can send new messages to the amygdala. I also like to work on memory repatterning using short-term memories and long-term memories. I know that a lot of people who are doing brain retraining do a lot of past memories when they were 5, when they were 7, etc. But it's also important to show your short-term memory that you're safe. Like today, I really enjoyed that cup of tea I made, and you remember that, you rehearse that. At the end of the day, you go through the day and you look for what was good. And some of you might say, well, I don't have any positive memories. Now, again, those of you who are new to brain retraining, you might not even know what I'm talking about, but this is for brain retraining. And so if you feel like you don't have positive memories, then for you, I would recommend noticing how nature is always there for you, how it feels to be around animals, or certain members of your community. Or maybe you need to do memories where you embody words that are empowering, like in the past, when did you feel inspired, the word inspired, or the word adventure, or playful, or passionate. So that's another way that I teach brain retraining. I'll be teaching more about that practice in my new Regulate program. But overall, I want to say memory repatterning is key. Okay, so make sure that you are doing some type of practice like that if you're trying to calm down a chronic stress response. Secondly, somatic presencing. This is also part of the level 1 materials, but maybe a little more advanced than brain retraining. And we do this because we need to show the nervous system that you're a capable adult that can be with these emotions. You don't need to suppress them, but you can be with these feelings. You can handle it. And it sends massive messages of safety to the limbic system when you're able to do this. So this is, again, part of level 1. And it also shows the protective structures in your brain that you don't need to dissociate or get overreactive in order to be in the body. And you learn how to be in a state of heart-brain coherence. And somatic presencing also helps you to address emotions. I have somebody who asked about that. How do we address emotions? We address emotions by being with them. And that's where the somatic practices come in. And also in the level 2 mentorship, we work a lot on dealing with memory structures that have charged emotional states. So it's mostly through presencing. And then step 3, bringing your purpose, your true self into the world. And the reason why this is so important, this actually directly affects your brainstem. And here's why. Your brainstem is always trying to keep you safe from primarily one thing: rejection, getting kicked out of the tribe. Okay. So if you're able to show your subconscious that you love yourself enough to handle potential rejection, this is one of the most direct ways to override the brainstem protection programming. And this is more of a later step after you've learned how to go through step 1 and 2. Ultimately, we're trying to show ourselves that we're imperturbable. We can go anywhere and do anything and we're okay. So I just wanted to go over that. Those are a few tips and give you those pieces of wisdom to start working with. And all of that, again, I expand on all of it in the classes. But those of you who are on this practice already, you probably can figure out ways of implementing those things that we just talked about. All right, so we have some more time here for any other questions. If I missed your question, just rewrite it. Is there a maximum limit of participants? Well, I'm sure there will be. I have no idea. I mean, it'll just be at capacity of what we can handle as far as study groups. I don't expect this first round to be too massive. I don't, I know how many people are on the wait list, and it shouldn't be, I have no idea. Right now we have 60 people in the community. So that gives you a little understanding. But yeah, I'm sure there'll have to be a max at some point because we can only have so many study groups. All right. Okay, here's another question. I feel called to do this work, but I have a fear I won't be able to understand or integrate this work. Also, the fear is yet again another modality or program that doesn't help me. Yeah, I understand that. A lot of people, and maybe some of you can write in the chat box, some people went through my program once And then they went through it again. And if that was you, can you write your experience, how you went through it? Because some people went through and they kind of got it, but they're like, okay, now I need to take this again. And I'm talking about the mentorship. And then they went through it again and they had an amazing experience. So sometimes we need to go through it again and again. And you know what? I tell people every time I teach a Primal Trust mentorship, I go through it again myself, over and over again, because it's a journey. It's a spiral pattern. You know, we're going through regulation, going into the inner world of what needs to be healed and back into the outer world. And we keep going through that. But the point is that these tools should give you an algorithm so you kind of understand the rhythm of transformation. And hopefully your body also will feel better as you go through that process. But life isn't I'm sick and I'm well and there's no problems anymore. That is not how life works. It is very rhythmic. It's ebb and flow, ebb and flow. And so, you know, thinking of it that way might help you to be like, oh, this doesn't work for me. It's ebb and flow, and you get better and better of handling that ebb and flow of life. And it's not about the program working for you. I said in the beginning, it's not the tools that heal you. It's not my coaching that heals you. It's you. You are the one that has your vital force, and you've got to redirect that look from, will this heal me, to how do I help my vital force to unlock so that I heal me? Because when you're looking outside of yourself, you're going to keep chasing your own tail. And I know that because I did that for 10 years before I started going inward. Can we join any day of the month? Yes, if you're wanting to do live Primal Trust, though, just join. Ideally, I'd love for you guys to be in a little bit before that starts so you can kind of get a feel for the community. Do you have a version of brain retraining who are not familiar with brain retraining? Yeah, so my brain retraining program is very simple. It's about becoming aware of what's not serving you, basically coming aware of a story that's circling. It's about presencing, and it's about working on memory structures. And that's in my ABC process that you can learn in the program, and it's for all levels. You don't have to have had a brain retraining practice, or you can add it to your current practice and change that. Do you incorporate breath work? Yep, I do. I do a lot of heart coherence breathing, 5 second in, 5 second out, but I've also done a lot of the other breathwork patterns. And in some of the advanced classes, we work on different breathwork patterns, but typically it's 5 second inhale, 5 second exhale through the heart, just to keep the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system in equal. Melissa says you went through this twice and heard things the second time that you didn't hear the first time. That's right. So also every time I teach the Primal Trust mentorship, it's always different. It's a little bit expanded and every time. Is the creating calm for people who are new to brain rewiring? Yes. Is it important to do creating calm before the Primal Trust? Yes. I want you guys to have some basic tools understood before going into the inner work so that your nervous system can stay more regulated through the process. Good question. Someone asked, I can't do the live Primal Trust calls. That's okay. I had lots of people who couldn't be on the call. They're recorded, they're posted that night. It's still the same material. In fact, a lot of people were on the live calls and then just would watch the recorded because they were, you know, trying to absorb too much information at once. Kathleen says, can you say that again? How do I unlock my own vital force? I don't remember what I was saying. I was saying that you'll have to remind me of what section you're talking about with that one, but your own vital force is your true self frequency brain state. It's a brain state of who you would be if you weren't identifying with health challenges, who you would be if your stories from the memories of the past were over here and not something you have emotional allegiance with. It's awakening that true self that's embodied with what I call primal trust frequency. It's the you that never was sick. And there's a process of finding it. You have to regulate the nervous system, but there's this inner work journey that the Primal Trust mentorship takes you through to get and find that true self through the memory repatterning, through values discovery, through getting this imperturbable sense of I can always handle what I feel in my body. Do you help address resistance? Well, those of you who've taken Primal Trust know that we address resistance a lot. In fact, my class 5 of Primal Trust is all about resistance. So it's a big focus point, yes. Oh, thank you guys for the testimonials in here. Is heart math a good complement to the somatic part of the program? Yes, I love the Heart Math Institute techniques. You can Google them. I teach them on my YouTube channel as well. Heart math is an excellent adjunct to everything that I do. I highly recommend it. I use it all the time. I used it right before this call to get my body regulated and ready. In the question and answer, will we be able to ask questions and get guidance that we're struggling with to rewire? Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to give you guys as much guidance on both what you're dealing with as well as implementing the tools of the program. How long did your fatigue symptom only take to use these tools? Fatigue is a state of your polyvagal regulation system or your polyvagal system. So fatigue is being in a dorsal vagal state, typically, meaning you're resisting life, you're in a freeze response. So it was something that as I felt safer to get back into life and I felt like it was okay, the fatigue started to lift. And then if something would hit me that made me a little afraid again, the fatigue might come back on. And then you start to learn that pattern of like, oh, don't worry, fatigue is just a state of my nervous system. And as you start to not be afraid of that pattern, the pattern starts to dissolve. And now when things hit me, it's not like I drop into fatigue anymore because I understand, I understand the resistance of doing something new and I'm not afraid of it. That's the primal trust piece that keeps your vagus nerve toned. It keeps you from swinging into dorsal vagal freeze or into sympathetic overdrive. So it's about understanding the patterns and moving beyond them. I teach a lot about that in my class 2 of creating calm and a lot in Primal Trust. Oh, thanks, Paul, for that testimonial. Does this help with electrosensitivity? Yeah, I didn't even used to be able to hold a phone or be on the computer. So yes, it's something that rewiring absolutely helps with. Which energetic systems are part of the Primal Trust worldview? Oh, I love that. So Primal Trust, the way I found out about it was actually through sound healing, through sound bowls that work on the 3rd chakra and the 4th chakra. So the Primal Trust frequency comes from the 3rd and the 4th chakra. So think about it as your 3rd chakra, which is your ability to feel self-empowered, capable, I can handle it. And your heart chakra, which is that non-resistance to what is and being able to be open-hearted even when things are tough, hard, scary. Both of those at the same time are the embodiment of the Primal Trust frequency. And so that's where that comes from. To me, I think for some people, Primal Trust means something different to everyone. But it is a sense of safety. It's a sense of capability. It's a sense of I'm open-hearted, even though some of these things are happening that are scary. Can this program help with severe anxiety? Yeah, I was somebody who had horrific anxiety. I was on a lot of medication. And it was really bad for many years. Brain retraining and also functional neurology exercises, which I teach in my Creating Calm course, which are like vision-based exercises to help with brain processing. Those things really helped with anxiety. Yeah, absolutely. It's a big thing we deal with here. Another question. I'm doing DNRS right now for MCS. So I do incremental training every day. Is that something I continue to do? Okay. Incremental training, for those of you who aren't aware, is exposing yourself incrementally to things that trigger you. Yes, you'll still continue to do your incremental training, but kind of in a different way with a different focus. part of this whole program is to get you out of like illness consciousness into living your values. And it's a real big mind shift. So instead of like, oh, I'm going to try to expose myself to this mold or this scent or what or exercise today so I can improve, which is typical brain retraining. I try to get you guys in touch with your true self passions and desires and essence of what do I want to do today, and what is an incremental way that I go do those things. So you're not actually focusing on your problems anymore. With the program, you're focusing on living and getting your purpose going. And it's a big shift in your brain state as far as doing that. One of the questions is, do these exercises help with vertigo and dizziness? In my Creating Calm second class, which is the vagus nerve class, I have functional neurology exercises that are very helpful for dizziness and vertigo. Can it help with severe brain fog? Brain fog is a divided mind state, and it's where your processing is convoluted. The goal of Primal Trust is that we heal that divided mind state through integration. And so, yes, hopefully that would help with your brain fog. Can you speak of the starting time? So all of the classes are available right now. The recorded Primal Trust, you can get going right now. All my Creating Calm, everything. The live Primal Trust will be starting January 25th at 10 a.m. Pacific. But you can get started on the recorded now, and that might be a good idea if you already have some experience. So by the time we get to the live, you won't be flooded with new information. And it is the top of the hour. If there's any other burning question, I would send it in now, and I will go through the chat box and try to make sure that everybody's question got answered. I can send that out in an email. And monthly payment via credit card only. Yes, I was trying to figure out PayPal, but it won't integrate with Simplero, so it has to be through credit card right now. Is there individual coaching available? There will be one-on-one coaching for an additional fee with different Primal Trust members. I will also have small, like tiny group coaching, like 4 or 6 people for an additional fee in the community, but there'll be a lot of group coaching classes. So hopefully you'll be able to get a lot of support that way, but there will be some one-on-one coaching available as well. I really appreciate all of you guys here. I just want you to know that you don't have to do this alone. And, I've been through this, and so many people in this community have been through this, and we're here to guide you. It's not just me anymore teaching you guys. We've got a whole system of mentors and, a lot of people even on this call who can guide you guys. And we need community. We're often most injured in relationships. And that's why a safe, supportive container is necessary for deep healing. And that's why I want to offer these classes as a container versus something separate. And that hopefully is what will happen in this community as we launch it in this way. Someone asked if we sign up today, we can start Creating Calm today. Yeah, everything is available today. The Primal Trust mentorship is available. All the level 3 material, level 2, level 1. You have access to everything. I recommend not going into level 3 live classes until you've done level 1 and at least part of level 2, but you can watch all the recordings at any time. Where can you email me directly? drkat@kathleenking.com is my email. And then the link, hopefully you guys have the link to the membership page. Let me just put that in if you don't, real quick, for more information. Okay. So there's more information. 10 a.m. Pacific. I don't know what time that is in Germany. So you might have to do the calculation. I hope that you guys learned some information here. I hope that you're understanding that there's a 3-step algorithm that I will be teaching over and over in different ways, ranging from my brain retraining practice to my Primal Trust work, so that you kind of start to understand, like, okay, first I need to calm down. Second, I need to get in my body. And third, I need to get out in the world. There's a process there over and over in different ways. That's very simplified, but that's the algorithm that I see. It's the algorithm that I see work. It's an algorithm that you repeat over and over. I could be out in the world one day and have a really hard, challenging experience with my family another day and have to go back to step one and regulate that day. All right. It's not you're here, you're here, you're here, and you stay here. That's not how life is. Ebb and flow, ebb and flow. All right. So hopefully you guys got that. And I am so glad to have you here. I'd love to have you involved. I think it's going to be outstanding. So far, things have been outstanding. I think it's just going to get better. And I will send everybody the recording. And please tell your friends about this. I don't have like a big marketing system. It's just word of mouth primarily and Instagram. So please share the links and tell people that you think could benefit. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you guys for coming.